Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Roshni and today we're going to be talking about token economy. Now you must have heard about ABA and token economy from Evan earlier, but we're going to go a little further in depth. So let's begin. Now token economy is a well-established system. It relies on the behavioral principles as proposed by B.F. Skinner in operant conditioning. That means that the original purpose of token economy was to provide reinforcements for positive behaviors. So to put it simply, the tokens are a way of paying children in order to complete the tasks. Now, the children can use the tokens in order to buy their desired items or activities. Now, throughout civilization, there have been many forms of token economies that have been used. Now, for example, titles of distinction, property, currency, tangibles, and edibles. However, despite the diversity in use, it's presently mostly used in education and has been shown to have a great deal of success. Now, it's generally implemented to reduce or increase a target behavior. Now we heard about the history of token economy, so let's go further into the basics. Now, as we heard earlier, the token economy system relies on the behavioral principles as proposed by B.F. Skinner in operant conditioning. The token, which is a neutral stimulus that is neither a positive nor a negative effect on the individual, is presented right before a reinforcer. Now, the token takes on the reinforcing properties of the reinforcer itself. Then the acquisition of the tokens become reinforcing themselves. So a token can come in many shapes and sizes, and this is usually they're usually adjusted to fit the individual for whom it's being applied to. But the most important part of token economy consists of the exchange of the tokens for a backup reinforcer. Now, a very important point to remember about token economy is that a token economy can only be successful if the individual acquires a reinforcer that can back up their value. So what that means is that the backup reinforcer, that is what they're finally working for, has to have a higher value than the tokens themselves. Okay, so now we know about the history and the basics of token economy, but let's look at some of the advantages of using it. Now, the token economy is a structured system. That means that there's a consistent deliverance of positive reinforcement for any of the target behaviors. It also allows for the reinforcement to be applied at any time, regardless of location or situation. And token economy can have a greater incentive value rather than a single primary reinforcer. So what it means is rather than giving a reinforcer every time the behavior is being performed, by giving a token, you're increasing the likelihood of the behavior being performed itself. Now, token economy is less likely to achieve satiation, and it can be used to prolong or maintain performance over extended periods of time. And this is more so when the reinforcers cannot be provided at that point or immediately. So it can be used for a variety of individuals who have a variety of preferences in their backup reinforcers. So it's adaptable to a variety of people as well. So now let's take a look at what needs to be done to use a token economy. Now, before you start using a token economy, you have to conduct a preference assessment, and that is to determine the potential reinforcers for the individual whom it's being applied to. Next, create a token board and determine the number of tokens to be used. Initially, it is recommended to use a 1-on-1 ratio, whereas 1 token per step involved in the task. Once the board is created, introduce the token board to the individual and explain the contingencies involved. So when using token economy, prompts and reinforcements are involved. So when initially teaching a skill, least to most prompting or shadowing should be used, and this should be coupled with providing a token for each step. When the child becomes familiar with the steps, differential reinforcement can be used to ensure that the child is able to complete the steps without the requirement of prompts. So each time a child completes a step, immediately provide the child with a verbal praise specific to the target behavior step. So for example, if the child's behavior is to take the plate to the sink and wash it, the first step of taking the plate to the sink should be followed by verbal praise saying as, "Whoa, great job, you did it, you took it to the sink, great, well done," as well as giving the token. So once a child acquires the designated amount of tokens, provide the child with a backup reinforcer of their choice. Now, token economy is great to use, however, it must be faded out in order to ensure that the behavior happens naturally. So in order to fade out this procedure, the ratio of reinforcement should be changed. So certain steps should be grouped together, and a token can be provided for completing that group of steps. So as the child becomes more and more skilled, reinforcement can be even more delayed. So that means that instead of a token being provided on every single step being completed, the tokens can be provided of the child completing the entire sequence of the behavior, and can be earned for exhibiting the behavior throughout the day or for a number of days as well, for example, a week. So in conclusion, token economy is a very versatile system. It's practical, time efficient, and is easy to set up. So what is important to remember is that you must properly pair the reinforcements with the tokens. And the value of the backup reinforcer should be higher than that of the tokens themselves. So thank you for watching this video. Now Stephanie is going to conduct a brief demonstration on how to perform a token economy.